Have a blessed morning to everyone, especially to our dynamic professor, Dr. Grace T. Flores. Good morning, Doc. Good morning to my classmates also. I am Mrs. Jocelyn L. Digman, and I will be reporting about the approaches in performing a subordinate skills analysis. And this is the continuation of our report in Group 1. Now for the objectives. The first one is to identify approaches in performing a subordinate skills analysis. The second one is to develop the subordinate skills required to accomplish. The third one is to apply the given approaches in performing a subordinate skills analysis. For the background information, it's about developing instructional analysis. How is instructional analysis being developed? It's through having description of our learning need. It is developed from our goal statement in a process that involves describing skills. Instructional analysis is a set of procedures and it has two parts, namely the goal analysis and subordinate skills. This was already discussed by my partner a while ago. For my topic, it's approaches in performing a subordinate skills analysis. Why does it need to have some approaches in performing a subordinate skills analysis? The decision to use a particular procedure usually rests on the type of goal being addressed. For intellectual, psychomotor goals, we will likely use hierarchical analysis. Eventually, we will determine which of these skills should be classified as entry behaviors and not be taught. But for right now, we should include all the relevant subordinate skills. After we have finished analyzing our first goal step, continue in this way, analyzing each succeeding goal step to identify subordinate skills and then analyzing those subordinate skills to identify more subordinate skills. In this way, we will be building a hierarchy of skills that are required to attain each main goal step. If our intellectual or psychomotor goal has subordinate skills that involve verbal information, we can still include it in your hierarchical flowchart, even though that verbal information is not part of the intellectual hierarchy. It is suggested that these skills be connected to the main hierarchical analysis using a connector like this, the one shown on the slide. For other approaches in performing a subordinate skill analysis is about the cluster analysis. If our goal falls in the domain of verbal information, there will probably not be any specific sequence inherent in the information. In other words, it may not involve going from one step to the next. With verbal information, we are not identifying a sequence of steps, but mainly we are just identifying the information that is needed to achieve our goal. In this case, a cluster analysis is generally used. This involves identifying and grouping major categories of information that are implied by the goal, and then deciding how the information can be clustered together best. Diagramming a cluster analysis can be achieved by using the hierarchical technique with the goal at the top and each major cluster as a sub-skill. Because our information is in clusters and there is no explicit sequence, it is not considered a hierarchy. Combination approach for attitudinal goals also require a slightly different approach. The process generally involves asking the following two questions. Number 1, what must learners do when exhibiting this attitude? Number 2, why should they exhibit this attitude? First, we should identify the behavior that we will look for to determine if the attitude is being demonstrated. What would people be doing if they were demonstrating that they were following the desired attitude? The second part involves explaining to the learner why they should make the choice to exhibit that attitude. The answer to this usually involves verbal information. For attitude goal, it is not enough that we teach a learner how to do it. They have to choose how to do it, and this is the information that will assess them in making the choice. The verbal information can be arranged in its own separate clusters analysis or integrated to overall hierarchical analysis. The third approach in performing a subordinate skill analysis is about the entry behaviors. Once we have the subordinate skills identified, it's time to determine which of those skills we will treat as entry behaviors. Entry behaviors are the skills and knowledge that the learners must know or be able to do before they begin the instruction. If we follow through with our subordinate skills analysis, the bottom of our hierarchy should contain very basic skills. If all of our goal steps are analyzed in this manner, then we will have a complete list of all the skills required for a learner to reach our instructional goal. A note on numbering conventions, the deck, carry, and carry book provides many examples of instructional analysis diagrams. However, we may have noticed that the goal steps and subordinate skills in their examples seems to be numbered in an arbitrary fashion. Because we think that it would be very helpful, they have created their own model, which you can see below. The main steps are numbered from left to right using whole numbers with one decimal place. Example 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, and many more. Substeps for each step are numbered from bottom to top. For example, the substeps for step 1 would be numbered 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and etc. Subordinate skills and entry skills are numbered in the order they are needed by adding a decimal place to the step or substep it supports. For example, if you identify 3 subordinate skills that are needed to perform step 2.0, they would be numbered 2.0.1, 2.0.2, and 2.0.3. If you identify 3 subordinate skills that are needed to perform substep 3.1, they would be numbered 3.1.1, 3.1.2, and 3.1.3. Verbal information is usually not numbered but connected to the step or subset with a V in a triangle. Decisions are placed in a diamond. They usually result in a yes or no response. The next step for each response is connected by an arrow that begins from one of the points of the diamond. Link to PDF version of sample instructional analysis was being written on the references. Notice how the goal steps are numbered sequentially from left to right, while the substeps and subordinate skills are numbered from the bottom up. As you can see above, the completed instructional analysis should then include the instructional goal, a list of the main steps required to accomplish that goal, the sub-steps required to accomplish the goal, the subordinate skills required to accomplish the step or sub-step, and the entry skills. This framework then becomes the foundation for all of the following steps in the instructional design process. Here's the references of my report. Required reading, instructional design using Dick and Carey, systems approach. https://edis.ifas.udfu/wc/wc29400.p. That's all for my report, and thank you so much for listening. God bless us all. Bye!